This is actually a part 2 to my last maintenance video, in which I will also exfoliate my skin outside of the shower instead of just dry brushing. Because with this level of dehydration and buildup, one method just isn't enough. So this is before I'm about to get in the shower and I'm first wetting my skin and then applying an oil, because you don't want to scrape while the skin is still dry. You need that layer of fat to help reduce friction so that the tool glides more seamlessly and it doesn't cause more harm than good. Because with exfoliation, what we're really doing is creating controlled damage, meaning we're irritating the skin enough to trigger it to regenerate. Since for some of us, that process can be kind of sluggish, or like in my case, you have an overproduction of keratin, so your body just may not be able to keep up. Basically, we don't want to cause a massive amount of irritation because inflammation is not our friend. We want to shut that down as soon as possible. In fact, prolonged inflammation is what we have to blame for PIH in the first place, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Those dark or red marks that you get after your acne finally clears up. And the same applies for picking at your skin, going out in the sun without SPF. So when we talk about evening out our skin tone, those are the biggest red flags as to why. And that's why you see me using soothing products as soon as my skin sustains any kind of trauma, like when I sugar. Hair removal is also trauma, so applying ingredients like aloe, witch hazel helps calm that inflammatory response so it subsides quicker. And at this point, this is my one manual exfoliation for the week, as the other 1 to 2 times are chemical. And an example of that regular exfoliation is this spot on my knee, which although there is still some pigmentation, it used to be several shades darker than this. In fact, this is an example of how deep my hyperpigmentation can get. And I also plan to address this keloid, which is going to take a bit of a different approach. I've been incapacitated for a while, so I haven't been able to give myself a manicure, and it shows. Like, I have lifting on almost every nail, so I couldn't let it go on any longer and attempted to at least remove the gel so that it wouldn't get caught on anything, or worse, trap in moisture, which as you know can lead to greenies. And I can't very well see what I'm doing, so I missed a few spots. Now, if you don't have time to constantly be changing your nail color or doing your nails, what I would normally do is just push my cuticles back daily. You can make it a habit throughout the day after you've washed your hands, and then keeping them moisturized will also deter you from getting to this point. But around day 4 to 7 is usually when I'll have to trim, and that'll keep your gel manicure looking neat even if it's grown out, and especially if you have a French design, because it'll still look fresh. Okay, months later, I finally decided how I feel about this tool, and it took me buying a new one to figure it out. I realized what I didn't like was the cuticle pusher with a flat side that looks almost like a spatula. It's just simply too large. So I bought this version. See, the most efficient use of this tool is to first separate the proximal nail fold from the cuticle by pushing back just that portion of skin. But if you can't see that demarcation, then it could be difficult to do. So it's much more effective to have a cuticle pusher that's more appropriately shaped to fit in that space. If you've ever wondered how I know what to cut or how much skin that I can cut, this is it. Because the skin is translucent, I can easily see just how thick the keratinized or calloused skin is, so that is my guide. And thanks to muscle memory, usually matching that depth isn't that difficult for me, but keeping it consistent each time you cut is the hard part, because the dead skin that has accumulated may not be the same depth around the entire perimeter of the nail. And I'm doing my best, but this isn't my finest work since I'm struggling to see, but I promise over time it does get easier. Now, I couldn't even tell you the last time I had my nails done. However, I would like to start getting my hair done, but every time I scroll past the stylist I like, it takes like 17 clicks just to figure out what city they in. And don't even get me started with scheduling. Because if you have Squarespace, not only could you be booking appointments in your sleep, better yet, you'd be practicing your craft instead of managing your calendar. Like, if I didn't have tools to assist with admin, I'd cry, because anything that doesn't involve exploring creativity is boring. So it's either delegate or make it a game. And I'd much rather use an aid than try making adulting fun. So that's why I appreciate features like BioSite and templates, which allow me to just insert the pertinent information, but the design and the formatting is done for me. For example, the newsletter, which is already beautiful, which, by the way, I'm happy to report the site is back up and running. So if you haven't already signed up for Squarespace, what you waiting for? I've been telling you this since way back when. If you want to try it out, you get a discount with abetweene, or just go ahead and go to squarespace.com/abetweene. And instead of applying a gel polish, which again takes precision, I'm just going to apply a regular polish. In particular, these from Manicure, because they don't require any base or top coat. You can just wear them as is, so less steps for me to keep up with. I recently rediscovered my love for black soap, but then quickly realized why I stopped. Because I feel like more of the bar melts sitting in the soap dish than actually makes its way onto my skin. So I'm turning the rest of my supply into a paste. I just dice it into small pieces and then add it to an empty container with warm distilled water. Technically, it doesn't even have to be warm, but that's it. I let it sit for about 2 days to break down, and the result is a smooth yet still concentrated soap that will give you a rich lather with minimal product. So now, not only do I get to use every last bit, but it lasts me even longer. I'm noticing some of the clips are out of focus, so I just wanted to apologize in advance because I'm not able to use the magnifying glass that I used on my hands, and I'm having trouble seeing them as well as reaching them. So for the same reason, I'm also not able to paint them precisely as normal. But the good news is that if you are in a similar situation, I'm going to show you how to paint your toes and still get a decent result regardless of dexterity. First and foremost, use an aid. Even if you aren't flexible, a platform or even a squatty potty will help you position your torso closer to your foot. And the same goes for the surface that you're sitting on. So if your chair is standard height, you might want to try a stool or something that's just lower to the ground, even if it's an ottoman or a floor poof. And then step 2 is embrace the imperfections. You want to use as many strokes as necessary to try to even out the polish as much as possible. But in terms of actually staying on the nail plate, it can be messy, whatever just gets it on there. Third and final step, then we can go back and clean it up later. And I have showed you how to do this in previous videos with darker polish so that you can really see the contrast. But I am using a lighter color on purpose so that it helps camouflage any of the imperfections.